Alright, so the purpose of this video is simple. I completed an art challenge. This art challenge I made up on my own. The goal was to get my Instagram going. So at its core, I did 100 flashcard drawings in my art style. And this, it was an undertaking. A big undertaking, because it stretched my art style in ways I never thought it could. And I'm not great at posting on Instagram. I've had these drawn since last year, but I didn't finish posting them until this week. Hence why I'm making this video. So let's get started. I posted them all in this notebook. And you can see the gloss on this first page. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to post them in here, so I taped them for the first page and realized that's going to make my notebook unreasonably thick and it's not going to close. So these are pretty simple, basic applications of my art style. As you go on, I continued like plain vanilla basic stuff, and then I was trying to see how I could draw some space themed objects, which was quite lovely. I really enjoy this space theme. I actually applied this comet for a sticker design later on, but as it progressed, it felt like I was trying to force more and more ideas, and it was tough, especially for someone who doesn't like posting to social media. I eventually stuck these in with what's the stuff? I don't know the formal name, but it is scrapbooking material. And I was trying to come up with different themes, different ways to produce. I quite like the concentric lines I did on this one. And I also went through and added color to some of them just to see how color would apply to my art style. And I really like the marker background with the pen ink on top. And some of these I went through with colored pencil after the fact of drawing, and some, like this one here, I did marker behind, which was really interesting. Where was I going? Okay, and I'm at a loss for words here. But as it progressed, around this point, I ended up taking a break from the art challenge, simply due to feeling burnt out trying to come up with all these ideas, and it was tough. I was used to drawing on big, full-sized sheets of paper, and scaling it down to the size of a flashcard was really tough. Trying to pack the same amount of detail in with the same size tool, but on a smaller canvas, is very tough. Some of these I was planning on trying to come up with like themes of squares or circles, as I wanted to adapt those into coloring books later on. And other ones I just wanted to see what a pattern would look like. Or this floral one, I wanted to see if I could draw some kind of flower pattern, and honestly, this is quite nice. I like this one a lot. This one was experimental. I remember trying something new with it. Seeing if I could, I don't really know what I was going for, but concentric lines is something I apply a lot to my art style, and normally my art covers the whole page and every single crevice is packed with detail, so I experimented with more minimalist patterns where it only covered part of the page. Really, you can tell I'm stretching my imagination here. Some are more classic, standard patterns that I've done 100 times over, and other ones are taking that classic pattern but applying it in a different, unique way, like this one, where it's that classic patterns, but they're contained in little windows, which I did apply to a coloring book later on. This one is really nice. I like how the geometric patterns came out, and it's a classic page, I would say. Something I've done 100 times before, but you know, when doing so many drawings, you gotta throw in something comfortable to keep you going. And some of these I was just drawing to draw, get it done. It was a tough art challenge, in all honesty. And this one, you've probably noticed earlier in the book, there was another similar pattern. I do this ripple pattern a lot, and I like to experiment with it. This one, I'm not sure what I was thinking. I like it. It's cool. Modern art, I guess you could say. More windows. This one is really cool looking. It's kind of like two suns tied together, using that ripple pattern from before, but in a way I've never used it before. I've never done it in a circle before this challenge. So I really like how that turned out, and I might make a bigger print size for it. Of course, I'll turn the book for you to see better, but I did a little moon and some clouds. It was October when I drew it, so I was feeling a little Halloween-y. And of course another splatter, and I was just mostly experimenting, and this is getting towards the end of my art challenge, so I was really stretching my imagination. See, I brought the hexagons back, but instead of filling them in with just black, I filled them in with patterns and doing different geometric shapes, a nice little planet here. And some of them I kept really simple, like this one or this one, where it doesn't fill up the whole page, which my art style is very maximalist, very in your face, very loud patterns. So it's a nice change of pace to do something simple and concentric and, you know, a little toned down, I guess you could say. Alright, this is the next page. So, still some more toned down stuff. I really like how this one turned out. I would love to do a version of that, maybe with some color. This one, I was just seeing how it would look to see if I could use this as a coloring page pattern in the future, which I will most likely do. Alright. This one was actually the start to something fun. I used this planning with a ruler the entire time, and it came out really cool, and I eventually adapted it into a larger pattern, and I did two drawings with this style. One where it was concentric lines going all the way in, and one where it was filled in with patterns. And it turned out really interesting, and it was a unique experience drawing that and putting actual planning in, because most of my art style is just taking the blank sheet of paper and going for it. There's not a ton of planning involved. I usually just draw and see how it looks. A little more space. I like trying to draw space things. It's kind of my thing. I love outer space. And then this one is another one I adapted to a coloring book pattern. It was very hard to draw it this small, but it turned out really nice. Really cool. The bigger version of this that I drew, I colored in, which turned out quite nice. So that one was definitely a good experiment to try. And here's the last page. The 100 didn't fit evenly across, divided by 3, of course. It's 100. Some circles and some squares. At this point in the challenge, I was just prepared to end, and it was a lot. It was a lot. Drawing so many drawings was difficult, but enjoyable. It definitely stretched my art style and forced me to produce something of value and of uniqueness, I guess you could say. It was a tough challenge. Would I do an art challenge again? Yes. Would I do one this big? No, probably not for a while. All right. Thank you. Have a good one.